afternoon, South Africa, and a very warm welcome to you. I'm Jeannie Dean. This is Afternoon Express. Today, we are going to be discussing something that is extremely close to my heart, education, and more specifically, educational support. And we're going to be chatting to some really amazing people that have really lent so much of their time and effort into the education system. Now, first up, we are chatting to former Miss South Africa and successful businesswoman, Amy Kleinhans-Curd. She's also an activist for education and has started her very own company called Dial a Teacher, which provides free support from professional teachers to pupils. Then we are joined by a representative of the Peninsula School Feeding Association, who have been feeding hungry school children since 1958. We also have the headmistress of one of the schools that receive aid from PSFA. And today in the loft, my diet also goes right out of the kitchen because Danilo is making something tasty.
Oh, that is it indeed. Jeannie D, welcome to the show. It's Afternoon Express right here on SABC3. My name is Danilo Akwisa. Now, today I've got Mark with me in the loft, and Mark makes things delicious. And today we're making something called the Goodness Me Burger. So not only are we speaking about feeding and education, we're also going to show you how to feed your families and your friends with something so tasty and so unique. What is a Goodness Me Burger?
It's basically our signature burger that we make in our food truck. So we've got a beef burger with bacon, mushroom sauce, and all the trimmings.
Oh, so when you look at it, you just go, goodness me. Is it the goodness me because of the flavors, or goodness me because how am I going to fit that in my mouth?
That's the reaction usually.
Okay. You guys can also get the recipe from our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. And if that's the first time you've heard it, where have you been? There's so many amazing recipes on our website, and you guys must go check them out, download them, and make all these delicious recipes for your friends and family. I promise you, then you'll become very, very popular. So let's kick off the show today on the couch. Jeannie's got Amy.
Thanks, Danilo. Now, in 1992, she was crowned Miss South Africa, and during the Miss World pageant of the same year, she made media history by bravely refusing to carry the old South African flag during the pageant, which was hosted in South Africa as well. Since then, she has become an internationally successful businesswoman, sitting on the board of several companies, public speaker, mother, and also educational activist. Joining us in the loft is Amy Kleinhans-Curd. Welcome.
Oh, it's so lovely to be with you this afternoon.
How wonderful are you? Now, I want to take us back to 1992. I mean, you became Miss South Africa in the first Miss South Africa of colour in a tremendously unsettling time, and then you owned it. I mean, I want to know your personal view on what that was like for you going through that at the time.
Well, it was obviously very exciting times for us in South Africa. Politically, it was churn, churn, churn. Nelson Mandela had just been released. It was a lot of uncertainty in our country. People were very uncertain about where it was all going, whether it was going to end up disastrous or whether it was going to be a success. And I think the evening I won was almost symbolic of, you know what, it's going to go well. It's actually going to go well.
Did you just feel it?
It was an amazing, and many people actually told me that evening, and months after that it was almost symbolic of where the South African journey was going to go. And being the first Miss SA of colour, just internationally made a huge statement. Yeah. And it was exciting times. My word, there were no 2 days the same.
Amazing.
People were so happy for you and supported me in such an incredibly special way. I still have the most incredible memories of that year.
And then what happened was, obviously, as much as you were supported, there were obviously people that were, you know, complaining that you didn't want to carry the flag. And then Nelson Mandela phoned you.
Oh, my word. That was that was an amazing experience. It was, to cut a long story short, we were 87 girls. I had gone and, as host girl, fetched them from England. Everybody had to meet in England, and I brought them to South Africa. And of course, the Miss South Africa committee at the time didn't actually brief me on the little extra details of which I had to provide for the Miss World, because I was in my home country. So the girls were told, bring your national dress, bring your evening wear, bring your da-da-da-da, and bring your flag, which I didn't know. So we were sitting in the Super Bowl doing our rehearsals, and I saw these beautiful, beefy, almost North African, really hunky boys walk in, half-clad. I said to Bill Fora at the time, and those are?
Who they for?
Yes, and why are they here? And he just said, oh, well, we decided that when the girls announce themselves internationally, it would be nice to fly the flag. So they all brought their own flags, Amy, and what the guys are going to be bearing the flag, and you walk up in front of them. And I said, and me?
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he said, I don't want to say what Suzelle says, but yeah. And then he said, you're right. We didn't use it. I said we didn't use it in the All Africa Games that we just did. I actually went to the first rugby game at Twickenham with Nas Boertale and so on.
He's amazing.
And
He's
then,
another story.
It's a complete different story. And I said, but why should I actually use it on the international stage with the Miss World competition?
Exactly.
Well, after a long, hard story, we had Saul Kersner in and the editors of the newspapers and the committee and sitting and what's the solution?
Yeah.
I said, well, I either walk out or I don't carry a flag or I carry something neutral.
Yeah.
And I eventually walked out. It was decided with a neutral flag, but because I was host girl, I carried the Miss World logo on this big white flag. That, and of course, Saul Kersner was very happy at the time because it was promoting him, and his organisation. But of course, I had no idea what the flag was going to be afterwards. And at the time, we were at all the girls. That evening, Miss Russia won. I came fourth, and it was just amazing. Beautiful evening. And I had a little bit of feel from the press at the time that evening there was a little bit of an unsettledness happening. But we were ushered into our private ball and the whole evening, and then we were ushered by security up the stairs. So I didn't get any flack that evening.
Yeah, because they were protected there.
Exactly, and that was November 1992. So there was no social media, there were no cell phones, there were no emails.
Yeah, so we weren't getting hate tweets.
No hate tweets. Thank goodness. But of course, just the landline. So that morning, my phone started ringing off, which just went ridiculous. And of course, everybody that was involved with the hotel, whatever, had no idea that this was going to be coming towards me. And I'd take one call after the next, and some people would say, "Hoe durf jy sê jy's my juffrou Suid-Afrika en jy wil nie ons vlag vlieg nie," and horrible. And then some people would phone in and say, "My word, you did us proud," or "What a brave thing to do," or "We so support you."
That's what I keep on thinking.
You know,
like, how much courage did you have as such a young woman? Because that's quite a brave thing. I mean, Saul Kersner, all these editors of newspapers, it's quite intimidating.
Exactly.
So you have to be quite brave for you to say, sorry, no.
And you know, when you actually have a personal conviction about something, that old flag symbolically caused my people so much pain. I could not. There was just no way,
I loved you so much that you did that.
No, and then I just eventually said to my roommate, that's it. I'm not going to take another call. This is ridiculous. I'm just getting abused. And the phone rang again, and she said to me, "You know what? And why I picked the phone up all the time because my mom and dad were calling me, and I never knew which call would be them. And there's of course no cell phone. So she said, "You know what? It could be your mom and dad. Just pick up the phone, Amy." So I pick the phone up, and it goes, "Hello." I'm going, "You've got to be kidding me. Who can this be?" I'm thinking, somebody's pulling the Mickey. I'm really not in the mood. And he says, "Do you know who I am?" And you know, Tata had a distinctive voice.
Yes.
And I was silent. He said, "It's Nelson Mandela." And I said,
Sure.
Yes. He said to me, "I just want to personally tell you that what you did for me personally and for our country internationally made me so proud."
You are amazing.
So that's how that story happened. And he asked me, will I be his friend?
Yes.
I said, "No, let me just check my diary."
We're going to be back with you on the couch in a little while, speaking more about your absolutely inspiring story. After the break, Danilo gets cooking in the kitchen with the ultimate hamburgers, and we're back on the couch with Amy to discuss her company, Dialer Teacher. We'll be right back after this.
Skip loves your clothes as much as you do.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, I'm exactly in the place that I love to be, and that's in our kitchen. And you know, you always get to these restaurants and you order a burger and you just get a burger. Well, now we're going to be showing you how to make a goodness me burger. And if you've been to Cape Town at all recently, you would have known that the burger culture is so massive, and so is this food truck industry. So I've got Mark with me today. He owns a food truck, and he's decided to kind of whip up some really delicious things for us today. This is like your signature burger, right?
Yeah, that's correct. This is one of our signature burgers called the Goodness Me. Yeah.
You're giving away some trade secrets, my friend. I hope your business doesn't go down and that our website goes up. Actually, I do hope that happens. Okay, so how exactly do we get started with making this burger?
Cool. Let's start with getting the patty ready. So we're making a beef burger today. We're using some beef mince. We've got our own special mix that we use for our burgers. We grind it only once, and we use like absolutely no binding agents in there.
Oh my word, so it's just pure beef?
Yeah, so it's just pure beef. So what are you going to do? This is just some mince we got from the store. Anyone can do that.
Okay, so you said you have your special ingredients, but I'm sure you could go to any store and buy beef mince and make it your own, but try and keep it as limited to just the meat flavors as possible.
Yeah, just the meat, yeah. So we don't want any too much extra stuff in there.
Cool.
So we're going to start by, we've got our pan nice and hot here. We're just going to add some oil to that.
And so you're going to be obviously frying up these patties for
Yeah,
us
we're
and
going
showing us to do that.
to be frying that up. Yeah. Obviously in the trailer we do it on a much bigger scale with big flat top and stuff.
And lots of really drunk people outside, usually, screaming at where their burgers are. But I see that you're only seasoning your patty now afterwards. I find that interesting. So you put no seasoning in the mince?
No seasoning in the mince. So we can go quite heavily on the seasoning on the outside.
Okay.
So when you bite into it, and you'll see the way we cook it, we're going to give it a nice crust. So you get that initial flavoring when you bite on the outside, but you still get that nice meaty flavor.
Oh, my word. And the reason, obviously, you said of not wanting to season the mince before you've made the patty itself?
We just we don't want to add binding agents in there, so and it just kind of creates that nice flavor crust on the outside, but just
one
nice
trick that I also learned about making burger patties, you can tell me if this is correct, is that when you're making the burger patty, also always try and make it thinner than you're expecting it to come out. Because if you make it, I think the meat, when it starts to cook, it swells. Yeah,
it swells up quite a bit, so we kind of season it a bit flatter, and then as you cook it,
it'll become bigger. So don't make these big fat steaks of meat that you guys put on the thing, and then it sort of grills up and becomes this round ball. That's not very cool.
Cool. So we got it nice seasoned on both sides. So what we're going to do is just let it cook off nicely for about 2 minutes. Get a nice crust on there, get that nice flavor on there. We're going to start the mushroom sauce along on the side here.
Okay.
We've got a pan with some heat on here. Let's grab some butter.
You've actually got me into this trend now. Every time you're putting something in, I keep wanting to say goodness me. Like, oh, goodness me, that's goodness me mushroom sauce. So just while you're busy getting that butter warmed up and you're showing us how to make this mushroom sauce, what goes into a goodness me?
We got our beef patty. Then we're going to top it with some with a mushroom cream reduction. We've also got some bacon that we're going to add later. Bacon, we glaze it with maple and mustard.
Delicious.
Goes in there. We've got some oven roasted baby tomatoes and some fresh rocket.
Okay, well, we got lots to do, so let's keep going.
Cool.
Lots and lots to do.
I'm just going to pop the mushrooms in here.
What mushrooms are you using?
These are portobello mushrooms.
Okay, and they reduce nicely, because I've sometimes tried to use button mushrooms and they get quite hard. Button mushrooms.
Yeah, they do. So we're just going to cook these at a nice medium temperature. Okay. They'll get some color eventually as they cook. So now have a
squeeze at your patty.
Burgers. Yeah.
Everyone likes to look at patty, right?
And let them go slightly longer.
Okay. And obviously, once that's done on the one side, you'll just flip it over. You don't keep flipping patties, right?
Yeah, we don't want it to, because it's not binded that much. We don't want to overwork it too much. So we're going to let it cook nice on either side. And see what we're going to do then is we're going to add some basting sauce onto that to give it some, also add to that flavor on the outside and give it some more color. We don't want to add it too soon, otherwise it's going to go, because that burns very quickly.
Oh, I see.
So we add that a bit later just to prevent.
All right. So you basically were going to be making your patty at home. You're going to be mushing up all that mince together, making it nice and flat, putting it, put some seasoning on the outside, put that into a pan, lightly bit of oil at the bottom, so it's like lightly frying. Then from there, what you do is you add your basting sauce once it's almost ready to be done. You just kind of want to heat up the basting sauce, basically. You don't want to have it burn on the outside. So
that's correct. And what we're going to do to finish it off, we've got some nice mature Irish cheddar there that we're going to put on there. And just before it's done, we're going to add some red wine to the pan.
Oh, yummy.
Put the lid on. That's going to evaporate, give some nice flavor to the patty, and also get the cheese nice and melted.
delicious. Well, I hope that doesn't evaporate, because what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to bring Jeannie into the kitchen later on. I want to make her finish up this burger with you, because there's red wine involved and there's some delicious ingredients. I know she'll be really, really excited about that. And if you're as excited about this recipe, you can make it with us at home. afternoonexpress.co.za is where you can find this recipe. It's an exclusive. It's one of his favorites. It's a bestseller. Make sure it's a bestseller at your house too. In the meantime, Jeannie's standing by on the couch with Amy.
In 2000, Amy Kleinhans-Curd, with focus on creating a company that would have a massive impact on education throughout South Africa, established Dial a Teacher, a nationwide phone-in advisory service where school children have access to help with their homework after school hours. We're back on the couch with Amy to learn more about this amazing initiative, which has been running successfully for the past 16 years. So, when you became Miss South Africa, you had just completed your degree in higher learning, and your father was a headmaster. So education running thick through your family. So obviously it was something that was very important to you. Did you go into teaching, or did you immediately then...
No, I definitely didn't go back into teaching. But I obviously, like you said, it was something in my genes. I wanted to remain in the business of education, but not the 9-to-5. And also the Miss South Africa competition and that entire world opened up my platform to access so many more children. Instead of just concentrating on 20, 30 children, sometimes now 40, 50 children in a classroom, I wanted to have a national reach. And I actually... thought of how can I actually reach the child in their need, where they really, really need it.
Such a good idea.
And I must admit, I had a mom that was a maths and art teacher. My dad was a headmaster of a school, but I actually needed help with my homework when I was at home. And I thought to myself, I wonder whether that would be a really good, helpful service. I then piloted the service in 1999 and with a school that I'd known very well. And I gave the service to the school, and I said to the teachers, please tell them about the children about it. And at the assembly, I briefed the children. I said, you can call us for any question that you have.
It's brilliant. The lines must be ringing off the hook.
It was so successful, that pilot, and I haven't looked back. I mean, I launched the service with Nelson Mandela. Absolutely loved it, and he loved the fact that we're employing teachers and that we're seeing to the grassroots needs of children in South Africa. And he launched the service with me, and I was high pregnant with my second baby, and it was all very exciting.
Now, how does it work? Is it a call centre kind of environment? And are they available all day, every day?
No.
Okay,
So they
just
only,
homework hours.
That's right. So they actually, I have the call centre filled with a call centre with the teachers between 4 and 10 at night, when the children are mainly doing, the learners are doing their homework. And then we've actually had to split it into 2 teams. We have the direct tutoring team, so a learner would call in and say, I'm in grade 11, I'm struggling with my stats, please can I speak to a maths teacher? And then it will be routed, the call will be routed to the maths department. Or the learner will call in and say, I'm in grade 7, I'm struggling with a project and I can't find the research, my computer's down and we don't have a decent library in our town. And that's how, then we send them to the research engine. And what we actually do is that we help the child or the learner define what the project's all about, what exactly the points are that the teacher is looking for, and then we actually ask them to give us 12 hours or 24 hours to actually look for exactly which information would be pertinent for their project. So that's how we split it.
Amazing.
What I've done with the teachers over the years, it's been an incredible journey where the teachers have to get to know how to work in a call center environment, how to log the call, how to log the question, and then fill in the content. So we've got content.
I'm sure, because it's quite broad. I mean, imagine some child in grade 2 phones with a Spanish project.
Exactly. So we've got a broad range of content and data back-ending our call center. So it's made it a whole lot easier. So a grade 5 would call in and ask about a specific project. And of course, we have that on our database, so we bring that up. We can immediately speak to them where to go and find the information. And then, of course, with technology, it's been such an incredible blessing.
Oh, of course.
Because the teachers have to work at night, they often are teachers that teach during the day. They finish off a long day at school and then come into the call centre. And quite often in wintertime, it's cold and rainy and so on.
Yeah.
I've now got my teachers on remote, which is just fascinating.
Oh, that's
so they
such a
can go
great help.
home and actually just slot into, have dinner, whatever, and slot into the call centre, let us know
Exactly.
they're online, and then whenever we need a teacher, they are available, which is wonderful.
That is so brilliant. Now, what is the collaboration with Leap School?
Oh my word, Leap School is my baby. I actually have I'm patron of the Leap Schools for Advanced Maths and Science, and what they actually do is they take the academically strong children from very disadvantaged, impoverished environments, and they put them into the school environment that academically runs from like 7:30 to like 5 o'clock at night. And they have double maths and double English and double, science and so on. They actually try and encourage the children to really push through into a more academic education for themselves. And what dialect teacher, I've got a social responsibility arm attached to dialect teacher, and that's what we do for them. So they get the calls for free and they call us whenever they have to. It's just been an incredible journey between Leap and dialect teacher, and amazing that dialect teachers love working with the Leap school learners because they are so determined and they're focused
And hungry for that.
and grateful, you know, which is so wonderful to work with.
Oh, education. I can't say it enough. It's the one thing that should be priority in this country at the moment. Thank you so much for
Exactly.
chatting to us.
Pleasure.
You're not going away. We've got more with you a little bit later. After the break, we're joined by a representative of the Peninsula School Feeding Association, and we chat to sports scientist Kathy McQuaid about how to maintain a healthy lifestyle plan. We'll be right back.
Another delicious recipe brought to you by Salati Sugar. Always good, always sweet.
A warm welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, there's lots in life that I think we take for granted, and I think one thing to remember is that a hungry child cannot concentrate on learning. And with such a high level of poverty in South Africa, children across the country are sitting at school hungry every single day. Now, the Peninsula School Feeding Association has been dealing with this issue since 1958. Joining us is Patrina Pakau. She's director of the PSFA, to chat about the great work that they do. And it's an absolute honor to have you with us today, because I'm excited to see that so many people dedicate their lives to causes like this. Welcome to our loft.
Well, thank you for having us. Thank you.
So, obviously, you guys do amazing work. I mean, it's an incredible organization that you guys run. But since 1958, in the Western Cape, you guys have focused your energy. Clearly, feeding children has been a crisis for many years.
Yes, it has. And the organization really was started out of a need that existed in 1958 when government stopped feeding in schools. And so the Rotary at the time came on board and started this particular process. And we've been around ever since. And to date, the organization is feeding close on 25,000 children in 142 schools. And primarily, really, in your primary, your secondary schools, special needs schools. And we're starting to expand into some early childhood development centres also. So, yeah.
Hi, YouTubers. Thank you so much for watching. Your support means the world to us. Join the Afternoon Express family by subscribing to our channel right here. And we'll keep you up to date with all our recipes and, of course,